ready.
We're basing our opinion based upon our advice we received from the township and from our engineer. If he feels that there's no way they can meet the requirements and it's not going to go forward, then we probably will table it. But I need to hear that. Go, Mr. Cowell.
Robert Clifford, 34 Bath Road.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want to thank you guys. The other side.
Other side, that's, yeah, I wasn't paying attention, my fault. Go ahead, sir.
I just want to address the body here. All you people who are here, be at the next township meeting. Bring your friends. Fill this damn building up.
What I'm saying.
We're all Muse people, most of them, right here. I spent almost my whole entire life within the Muse community.
Me
We
too.
deserve better.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
I'm new here, and I still think that this town deserves better than what you guys are getting. I'm from California, and I've watched companies like this come in and disregard, take people's land, living in New Orleans, watching eminent domain happen. It's not America it's not right.
Mr. Klesky was right, but there's a lot that they have to do. There's the 19 points that Dan pointed out, stormwater management, another 8, general landscaping plan. We talked about for the Miller property, those will all have to be done before the 6th. So, there's a notice on you guys to get it done.
I'm going to defer to these guys if they can address all the questions. It's not my.
Is there anything you find insurmountable?
I really don't, but on the other hand, I would prefer that we move it forward for the supervisor's meeting. If we're not ready for the supervisor's meeting, we'll wait for the next supervisor's meeting. Give you our assurances that these will be addressed with Kahan's office. He's got different people working on it as well as we do. And in the meantime, the issues with the property may get resolved, just the financial aspects of it. I mean, that's really out of our control from what we're doing.
Once you file I mean, and again, I think we need some solicitor's opinion, but the township doesn't have a solicitor here tonight or not. I understand you officially have the post office property because that was filed. And after the 30 days, there was no objection.
Correct.
So you officially have it. You do not have Mrs. Miller's property or the other property yet.
Correct.
Or the construction access. So,
Which might be either, there's some options I think we have for that if that's not township property. And I can talk to the property owner about the temporary easement, or we can also move that access point.
my only point would be from a legal standpoint, can you get in front of, if you do not have standing, and I don't know, filing the papers gives you standing in the properties that you need to improve School Street, or that has to go through deliberation first before you have the standing. I think we don't know that here tonight, so that's something that I can't answer. I don't know how that works.
Would you like to call it under the post office?
Well, I mean,
left was deemed unsafe.
Yeah, to be frank, I mean, they're gonna have to do improvements. Again, we haven't settled on the improvements to School Street either. I mean, they just recently obtained the post office property that they even knew that this alignment was possible because in reality, the federal government controlled their taking if they wanted to, and they didn't. So they allowed this to happen, and now that they've moved forward to acquire the other properties. I mean, I understand why they did it in the fashion they did it, but we really haven't had a time to discuss the details. What I heard here tonight is that they're going to do the road and rebuild the road, and they'll work with us on standards. Part of those standards are rebuilding that culvert underneath the road. That's what I'm going to require. I'm going to look at my information now that I know where it is, and that's what will happen. And I don't think we have an argument with that.
No, that goes back to the February meeting. We also stood out there at the site. We looked at everyone was concerned about the safety of that. And the discussion went along the lines, if we could get to the post office property, the school district could acquire that. we could improve, make the whole area much safer, and then also address any issues with the culvert. We brought that up at that meeting, that there was, you suspected some problems with it. So we know that has to be addressed.
We have to get permission from DEP then? We can't get it, well, we could get a permit for the ball field.
We couldn't get a permit to fill in more of the stream. That was the problem there. We can get a permit to maintain a pipe. It's a maintenance issue. It's an existing pipe.
It was in faulty to left in Commerce Square. Are we sure we own that bottom section of School Street? I've been told by several people that that belongs to the property to the left there. Are we sure that the deed is that the School Street coming off of Muse Bishop Road is township property?
As far as everything that I know, it is. I mean, it's a dedicated right-of-way. I think it was established when the plan was laid out. That is a right-of-way by the old plan, by the company plan.
Because we talked about years back, they used to come down School Street and make a left behind the post office. That was barricaded off. There was a pipe already bought. When they come down School Street, they had to make a left that wasn't a throughway to come on the Muse Bishop Road. I had pictures of it being barricaded up there.
There's like a big open spot with a grate.
Yes.
Okay. Brownsville Construction did that whole thing up the valley, that it would never have been able to do it today. That was all wetlands.
Right.
Okay. It's concrete block.
Yeah.
And beams.
Beams. Yes.
But I don't know how far they are from there.
Well, I believe that whatever area that they're establishing with this new right-of-way, they're actually coming through and they're going to dedicate the piece from the post office that they've given. So whether School Street in that particular front piece was township or not, like with Frank's question, they're going to transfer their ownership to the township at some point in time when we do alignment.
You mean the people that have the old company store?
No, not the old company store, but if they move the road to where the post office is,
Yeah.
the school district will reestablish that as township right away at some point.
Correct.
Any other comments from the floor?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
I just have one comment.
Your name, please.
Darlene Barney, lived in Cecil Township my whole life. My only concern is this School Street, that's buses go in, buses come out. Going to make a loop, come down. Now, what happens if there would be a disaster or something that would block off School Street, and we have 800 students in that school, that we don't have another access road to get to that school? What happens? How do we get these children out of the school? Now, you know, this happened back whenever Ivan come through. We couldn't get our children out of the intermediate school because all the roads were blocked because of the flooding. They had to come in through the back to get some of the children off of Grange Road, that way to get the children out. By the looks of this, there's one way in and one way out. All the other schools that I have seen, and I've been around to a lot of schools that have been just being built, and one of the most efficiently built schools down in West Virginia, where when the school buses come in one way, they drop the kids off, they come out the other way. The parents aren't allowed to go in with the school buses, that they have their own drop-off, a separate entrance, a separate exit. But yet here, buses go up, buses come down, parents go up, parents come down. Just one way in and one way out. It doesn't seem feasible, especially whenever they're anticipating on
800 children in this school, and the way they're building, that school will probably be overcrowded within 8 or 10 years. But my concern, and my main concern right now, being a grandmother of 2 grandsons, the safety of the children, that if there would be a disaster. And nobody can tell me that, hey, you know what, there's no disaster. Be a pipeline, a gas line explode, you see them all the time. It could close that, it could close all of Muse right there on School Street, or right there by the Commerce, the building there, or whatever. My concern is one way in, one way out. People ought to think about
It
that.
has one way in and one way out now for the last 45 to 60
That's beside the
years.
point. That was 45 years ago, and that was 125 kids in the Muse. Now it's going to be 800, and they're talking about this multi-million-dollar school. You mean to tell me that they can't put another roadway out of there in case of an emergency? Thank you.
Here, Dan, are there any code requirements that would require second entrance, point of egress, ingress?
There's nothing in the township ordinances that require it.
No state.
I'm guessing that construction access could be somewhat maintained, as sort of a grass alley or...
Maybe geogrid after the road is closed. as a-
Where are you guys talking about?
Construction.
The one that
Construction access or
behind the fire hall, going up that way.
It could be left in place for the emergency exit, emergency only.
Yeah.
I
Even if there's-
know when we had the meetings at the fire hall that we talked about earlier, concern was in and out of Oak Street, where it intersects with East Bishop Road. But in the case of emergency, you're probably going to have traffic patrolmen at the intersection to control traffic in a situation like that. It could be gated, left gated, so people don't use it on a daily basis.
Will be paved.
Right now, it's just aggregate for construction purposes. I would probably not pave it.
You could put some type of permeable geogrid surface underneath the grass. I mean, I've seen,
Yeah.
they've required that for neighborhoods so that there is a second point of access.
And if I'm not mistaken, part of that construction entrance is actually part of what you are going to be putting in as access for emergency vehicles around.
At the very top,
Yeah.
correct.
So part of it's already going to,
Right,
it's
yeah,
already
from this
part of
point,
the
yeah.
permanent plan.
Is the very bottom of the property I said was my uncle's? Where they're going in?
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the one.
This is also the worst state-maintained road in the wintertime. Last road to be touched.
East Bishop.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have much to do with this, but somebody needs to get hold of PennDOT. They need to maintain that better, faster.
The kids, 12 buses, yeah.
Any other questions from the floor? Okay, at this point, we'll close comments from the floor. And I ask if there's anyone willing to entertain a motion at this point.
I got a couple of questions. You feel confident you'll have all your issues in place in 2 weeks?
Yes, if we don't, then I would ask the supervisors for another meeting later on if we're not ready by July 6th. But our intention would be to be ready for July 6th. But in the event we're not, then I'm working with Dan's office, we'll be waiting for the next supervisor's opportunity.
I make a motion, we approve application 2015-0012, East Elementary School site plan, pending Gateway's letter, June 17th, 2015, and some of the comments to the floor